There is a silent, magnetic force within you that is currently determining the size of your bank account, the quality of your relationships, and the trajectory of your entire future. Most people go through their lives completely unaware that this internal alchemy is actually the hidden engine behind their every success or failure. They wait for the world to change before they decide to change their outlook. But the secret of the elite is that the world acts as a mirror. It doesn't just give you what you want, it reflects back exactly who you are. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on a timeless philosophy to show you how to forge an attitude that doesn't just face the world, but commands it. If you've been looking for the master key to open the doors of opportunity, it starts with becoming the kind of person the door wants to open for. Let's talk about the reality of your internal weather. Most people wake up and check the sky to see how they're going to feel. If it's raining, they're gloomy. If the boss is grumpy, they're stressed. If the news is bad, they're defeated. They are a thermometer. They simply reflect the temperature of the room. But the 2%? The 2% are thermostats. They don't reflect the temperature, they set it. They walk into a room and the atmosphere changes to match them. They understand that attitude is the foundation upon which every other discipline is built. You can have the plan, the skills, and the time, but if your attitude is toxic, you are building a skyscraper on a swamp. I've often said that every day is a fresh canvas. Imagine that. You wake up at 6 a.m. and you are holding the brush. The question is, what are you going to paint? The 98% let the world grab the brush. They let the morning news paint a streak of fear. They let the traffic paint a streak of anger. By 9 a.m., their canvas is a mess of gray and black, and they wonder why their life looks like a tragedy. The man of iron wisdom guards the brush. He decides before he even leaves the house that he will paint with the colors of gratitude, resilience, and expectation. He understands that your attitude is the set of the sail we've talked about before. The wind blows on us all, but the man with the right attitude uses the same wind that sinks the drifter to reach the shore of his dreams. Your attitude is a magnet. This isn't some new age fantasy. It is a fundamental law of human association. Think about it. Have you ever met someone who is constantly complaining? Someone who finds a problem for every solution? How much success do you want to share with that person? How many million-dollar opportunities are you going to hand to someone who smells like defeat? Probably zero. We push those people away. We avoid their calls. We leave them out of the inner circle because they are an energy drain. Now think about the person who is relentless. The person who sees a challenge and says, "There's an answer here." The person who remains grateful in the middle of a crisis. We are drawn to them. We want to work with them. We want to invest in them. Their attitude has created a magnetic pull that brings opportunities to their door. This is the magnetism factor. You don't get what you deserve in this life. You get what you attract. If you aren't attracting the right people, the right money, or the right luck, it is time to check your magnetic charge. Is your mind a greenhouse for growth or a graveyard for potential? Negativity is a barrier. It is a wall of glass that keeps you looking at the harvest without ever being able to touch it. You must develop the discipline to polish that glass, or better yet, shatter it. You must realize that your attitude is a choice, not a reaction. Let's look at the discipline of perspective. Most people see a problem and they stop. They say, "This shouldn't be happening." They waste their emotional energy arguing with reality. But the elite have a different perspective. They see a problem and they say, "What does this make possible?" This is the alchemy. It is the ability to take the lead of a setback and turn it into the gold of a lesson. I've always taught that you shouldn't wish it were easier. You should wish you were better. A problem is not a wall. It is a weight in the gym of life. It is there to build your muscle. When you change your perspective from "why is this happening to me" to "how is this happening for me," you have just upgraded your internal software. You have become an accumulator of wisdom rather than a spender of complaints. You must become a guardian of your mental inventory. Every thought you allow to take up space in your head is a tenant. The question is, are they paying rent, or are they squatters who are trashing the place? Thoughts of "I can't," "it's too hard," and "they won't let me" are squatters. They provide no value. They drain your resources. They make you weak. The man of iron wisdom conducts a daily eviction. He replaces the squatters with high-value thoughts. He feeds his mind a diet of possibility. He understands that the world is full of noise, and if he doesn't provide the signal, he will be lost in the static. Consider the architecture of optimism. This isn't about blind optimism. It's not about ignoring the storm. It's about knowing you have the tools to survive it. It is the ant philosophy applied to the spirit. The ant thinks summer all winter. When it's cold, when the ground is frozen, the ant reminds himself, this won't last long. That is an attitude of hope backed by discipline. Most people are the opposite. When it's summer, they worry about the winter. When they have money, they worry about being broke. They are pre-worrying, which is just practicing for a disaster that hasn't happened yet. What a waste of imagination. You must discipline your mind to hold a positive expectation. Expect the harvest. Expect the win. Expect the breakthrough. Because even if it doesn't come today, the person who expects it is more likely to see it when it arrives. The marketplace, as we've discussed, pays for value. But here is the secret. Attitude is a component of value. If I have two workers with the exact same skills, but one is a joy to be around and the other is a misery, which one is more valuable? The one with the positive attitude. Why? Because they increase the productivity of everyone around them. They reduce friction. They solve problems without creating new ones. Their attitude is a force multiplier. If you want to increase your market value overnight, don't just learn a new skill, learn a new spirit. Become the person who is unshakable. Become the person who brings the light into the room. Let's talk about the brick-by-brick method. Your attitude isn't a feeling you wake up with. It is a structure you build. It is built with the bricks of your daily habits. It's the brick of gratitude you lay when you first open your eyes. It's the brick of discipline you lay when you choose to exercise instead of sleeping in. It's the brick of communication you lay when you speak a word of encouragement instead of a word of criticism. By the end of the year, those bricks form a fortress. You become a person who is resilient. You become a person of iron. The 98% are building their attitude with straw and mud, and they wonder why the first wind of crisis blows it over. You must also master the alchemy of language. Your words are the clothing of your attitude. If you talk like a victim, you will feel like a victim. If you say, "I have to go to work," you are a slave. If you say, "I get to go to work," you are a professional. It is a tiny shift, but it changes the entire chemistry of your brain. The 2% use the language of ownership. They don't say, "The economy is bad." They say, "The economy is challenging, so I must be more creative." They don't say, "I failed." They say, "I learned." Watch your tongue, for it is the rudder of your attitude. If you speak defeat, your mind will follow the order. If you speak victory, your spirit will rise to meet the demand. Beware the slow erosion of neglect. You don't lose a great attitude in a day. You lose it in increments. It's the one day you didn't practice gratitude. It's the one conversation where you joined in the gossip. It's the 1 hour you spent listening to the crows instead of the eagles. Before you know it, your foundation is cracked. You must be relentless in your maintenance. You must audit your associations. Are the people around you feeding your optimism or your cynicism? I've often said that you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. If you are the most positive person in your circle is too small. You need to find people whose attitude makes you feel like an amateur. You need to be around those who have already forged their iron. Finally, remember that attitude is the precursor to results. The 98% want the results first. They say, "I'll be happy when I'm rich." But the law of the universe is be, do, have. You must be the person of character and attitude first. Then you will do the things that person does. And only then will you have what that person has. You cannot flip the order. You cannot talk the crop out of the ground. You must be the farmer with the patient, disciplined, and expectant heart. You must tend the field of your mind with the same intensity you tend the field of your career. We must take a closer look at the alchemy of the afternoon. Most people can maintain a decent spirit when the coffee is hot and the morning is fresh. But the true test of your internal gold is how you handle the 3 p.m. slump. When the fatigue sets in, when the obstacles have piled up, and when the day hasn't gone exactly to plan, that is when the 98% begin to drift into the gray. They start to look for someone to blame. They start to look for an exit. But the architect of attitude knows that the afternoon is where the win is solidified. You must have the discipline to reprime the pump. You must sit for 5 minutes and remind yourself of the vision. You must intentionally choose to finish the day with more intensity than you started it. Let's talk about the investment of encouragement. One of the fastest ways to upgrade your own attitude is to invest in someone else's. If you are feeling low, go find someone else who is struggling and lift them up. It is a paradox of the human spirit. You cannot pour sunshine into another person's life without getting a few rays on yourself. When you become a source of strength for others, you reinforce the strength within yourself. The elite don't wait for encouragement. They provide it. They understand that by being the sun in their environment, they ensure they never have to live in the dark. Consider the discipline of the small win. Your attitude is fed by progress. If you feel like you are standing still, your spirit will begin to stagnate. You must break your massive goals down into tiny, manageable bricks. Every time you lay a brick, celebrate it. Every time you finish a task, acknowledge it. This creates a dopamine loop of achievement that keeps your attitude high. The 98% are waiting for the grand prize to feel good, but the 2% feel good because they are winning the small battles every single hour. They understand that 100 small wins create an unshakable momentum. We must also confront the ghost of comparison. Nothing kills a golden attitude faster than comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. The marketplace is large enough for everyone to win, but if you spend your time looking at your neighbor's field, you are neglecting your own soil. You must have the discipline to run your own race. Your only competition is the person you were yesterday. If you are 1% better today, you are winning. If your attitude is 1% more resilient today, you are succeeding. Comparison is a spender of energy. Focus is an accumulator of power. Think about the psychology of the obstacle. Most people view a setback as a sign to stop. They think, maybe this isn't meant to be. But the iron wisdom dictates that the obstacle is actually the price of admission. If it were easy, everyone would do it, and the reward would be worthless. When you hit a wall, you should smile. You should say, this is where the 98% quit. This is where the gap widens. Your attitude should be one of aggressive curiosity. Instead of being frustrated, be fascinated. Ask, How am I going to get around this? This shift from frustration to fascination is the hallmark of the master. Let's look at the maintenance of the heart. You cannot have a high-value attitude if you are carrying the lead of resentment. If someone wronged you last year and you are still talking about it today, you are carrying a weight that is slowing your climb. Forgiveness is not a gift you give to others. It is a gift you give to yourself. It is the act of dropping the heavy stones so you can climb faster. The elite don't have time for grudges. They have too much work to do. They have too many harvests to plan. They understand that bitterness is a toxin that destroys the vessel it is stored in. Empty your vessel of the old grievances so you can fill it with the new opportunities. You must also develop the discipline of digital defense. We live in an era where negativity is delivered to our pockets 24 hours a day. If you spend the first 30 minutes of your day scrolling through the outrage of the hour, you are poisoning your well before you've even had a drink. You must be a tactical consumer. Choose the voices you listen to. Choose the creators you follow. If it doesn't add a brick to your fortress, if it doesn't sharpen your blade, if it doesn't broaden your vision, then turn it off. Your attention is your most valuable asset. Don't spend it on trash. Consider the alchemy of silence. We live in a noisy world, and noise breeds anxiety. One of the most powerful ways to maintain a golden attitude is to practice the discipline of silence. 10 minutes a day, no phone, no music, no talking, just you and the silence. In that silence, the static of the world begins to fade, and your own signal becomes clear. You can hear your own wisdom. You can feel your own strength. The 98% are terrified of silence because they are terrified of what they might hear. The 2% seek it out because that is where the blueprint is refined. Let's talk about the value of the rebound. Everyone gets knocked down. Even the most elite, the most disciplined, and the most positive people have days where the wind blows them off course. The difference is the rebound time. The 98% get knocked down and stay down for a week, a month, or a lifetime. They talk about the fall for years. The 2% get knocked down and they are back on their feet before the dust has settled. They have the discipline to reset. They say, that was a bad hour, but it's not a bad day. That was a bad day, but it's not a bad life. Your ability to shorten the distance between the hit and the rebound is a measurement of your iron. Think about the spirit of service. A selfish attitude is a small attitude. It is narrow and fragile. But an attitude of service is expansive and powerful. When your goal is to provide value to others, you tap into a source of energy that never runs dry. You aren't just working for a paycheck. You are working for a mission. This changes the way you walk into a room. It changes the way you handle a customer. It changes the way you face a challenge. You become mission-driven, and a man on a mission is the most magnetic force in the marketplace. We must also examine the discipline of celebration. Most people are so focused on what they haven't done that they forget to acknowledge what they have done. This creates a deficit mindset. You must learn to celebrate your progress, no matter how small. When you finish a difficult task, take a moment to breathe and say, "Well done." When you resist a temptation, acknowledge your strength. This isn't about being arrogant. It's about being an internal cheerleader. If you don't support yourself, you cannot expect the world to support you. A golden attitude is one that is constantly fueled by self-respect. Consider the perspective of the harvest. A farmer doesn't get angry at the soil because the seeds haven't sprouted in 2 days. He has the patience of the seasons. He knows that if he did the work in the spring, the harvest will come in the autumn. Most people are seasonally confused. They want to reap in the spring and plant in the winter. When the harvest doesn't appear instantly, their attitude sours. You must develop a long-term spirit. You must be willing to labor in the heat of the summer with a smile on your face, knowing that the laws of the universe are working on your behalf. Let's look at the law of anticipation. Your attitude is often a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you walk into a meeting expecting it to be a waste of time, you will find a way to make it one. You will see the problems, you will ignore the opportunities, and your body language will push people away. But if you walk in expecting a breakthrough, you will look for it. You will listen differently. You will speak differently. And because you are looking for the win, you are far more likely to find it. The elite preload their expectations. They decide to be successful before they even start the task. You must also master the alchemy of environment. Your surroundings are constantly whispering to your subconscious. If your office is a mess, if your car is full of trash, if your home is disorganized, you are whispering chaos to your spirit. You must have the discipline to create an environment of order. Clean the desk. Organize the files. Surround yourself with things that reflect the person you are becoming. A golden attitude needs a golden temple. When your environment is in order, your mind follows suit. You feel more in control. You feel more professional. You feel like a person who is destined for greatness. Finally, we must talk about the legacy of the spirit. What will people say about you when you leave the room? Will they say, "I'm glad he's gone, he was a drain"? Or will they say, "I feel better just because he was here"? Your attitude is your ultimate legacy. It is the footprint you leave on the hearts of others. It is more valuable than your money, more powerful than your title, and more lasting than your work. Forge an attitude that serves as a lighthouse for others. Be the person who proves that a human being can be unshakable, grateful, and relentless, regardless of the wind. The brush is still in your hand. The canvas of the afternoon, the evening, and tomorrow is still blank. Don't let the crows of the world tell you what to paint. Don't let the weeds of the past choke your vision. Stand tall, set your sail. And remember that the alchemy of your life begins and ends with the spirit you choose to carry. This is the iron wisdom. We must also examine the alchemy of the anchor. In every man's life, there are moments of sudden, violent transition, the loss of a contract, the end of a partnership, the shifting of a market. The 98% have their attitude anchored to the external world, and when the external world moves, their spirit is dragged into the depths. They are at the mercy of the waves, but the 2% anchor their attitude to their internal principles. They understand that while they cannot control the storm, they are the absolute masters of the ship's response. You must develop a core of iron that is independent of your bank statement. If your happiness is tied to your balance, you are a slave to the numbers. If your peace is tied to your principles, you are a king in any economy. Let's talk about the discipline of curiosity. One of the most subtle ways a golden attitude turns to lead is through the onset of cynicism. Cynicism is the death of growth. It is the belief that you have seen it all, know it all, and that the world is inherently tilted against you. To maintain the iron wisdom, you must replace cynicism with aggressive curiosity. When you meet a successful person, don't look for their flaws. Look for their formula. When you see a new technology, don't look for why it will fail. Look for how it can be leveraged. A curious mind is a youthful mind. It is a mind that stays open to the fresh canvas every single day. The elite are perpetual students of the game because they know that the moment you think you finished the book, the marketplace changes the language. Consider the alchemy of endurance. There is a specific kind of attitude required for the long winter. We have talked about the ant philosophy, but let us look at the spirit of the trekker. When you are halfway up the mountain and the summit is shrouded in clouds, your greatest enemy is not the cold or the incline. It is the mental fatigue that tells you the climb isn't worth it. The 98% listen to that voice and turn back. The 2% have the discipline to focus only on the next 3 feet. They don't look at the summit, they look at the step. They maintain a functional optimism, the belief that as long as they are moving, they are winning. This is how empires are built, not in a day of glory, but in 1,000 days of grit, where the only thing keeping the legs moving is a disciplined, expectant attitude. Think about the magnetism of integrity. We live in a world where many people believe a shrewd attitude is the path to wealth, the belief that you must cut corners or outsmart others to get ahead. But that is the fool's gold of the spirit. It might bring a quick win, but it creates a reputation debt that will eventually bankrupt you. A golden attitude is rooted in radical honesty. When your internal word matches your external action, you develop a magnetic power that is undeniable. People sense it. The marketplace rewards it. You become a safe harbor for capital and opportunity. In the final accounting, your integrity is the highest value asset you own. Protect it with the same intensity that you protect your life. Let's look at the discipline of the pivot. A rigid attitude is a fragile one. If you are so set on your plan that you cannot adapt to reality, you will break when the wind shifts. The iron wisdom teaches us to be firm on the vision, but flexible on the path. When the market says no, the man of lead gets angry. The man of gold gets curious. He pivots. He adjusts the sail. He looks for the side door. This requires the attitude of a scientist, viewing every failure as data, not as a reflection of your worth. If the experiment failed, it doesn't mean the scientist is a failure. It means the formula needs adjustment. This emotional detachment from the how allows you to stay focused on the what. Consider the alchemy of physical vitality. You cannot maintain a high-performance attitude in a low-performance body. Your spirit and your physiology are a closed loop. If you are feeding yourself toxins, neglecting your sleep, and avoiding the discipline of movement, your attitude will eventually sour. It is a biological certainty. A tired mind is a fearful mind. A weak body is a pessimistic body. You must have the discipline to fuel the forge. Treat your physical self as the vessel that carries your golden spirit. When you feel your attitude slipping, check your basics. Have you moved? Have you breathed? Have you rested? Often, a bad attitude is simply a tired body in disguise. We must also confront the tyranny of the opinion. The 98% are terrified of what the crowd thinks. They dress, talk, and think in a way that seeks the approval of the mediocre. This creates a hollow attitude, one that is easily crushed by a single negative comment. The 2% develop the discipline of indifference to the crowd. They don't seek approval, they seek results. They understand that if you want to reach the top of the mountain, you must be willing to be misunderstood by those who are content to stay in the valley. Your attitude should be anchored to your internal board of directors, your values, your vision, and your mentors, not the shouting of the masses on the digital street corner. Think about the alchemy of preparation. Fear is often just a lack of design. When you walk into a situation unprepared, your attitude naturally shifts to defense. You become reactive, hesitant, and small. But when you have done the work in the dark, when you have studied the numbers, practiced the skill, and visualized the outcome, your attitude becomes one of quiet certainty. Preparation is the mother of confidence. The elite spend more time in the workshop of preparation so they can spend less time in the panic of execution. They know that a golden attitude is best supported by the steel of competence. Let's talk about the value of the small courtesy. One of the most overlooked aspects of a magnetic attitude is the discipline of the minor interaction. How do you treat the waiter? How do you speak to the person at the front desk? The 98% save their good attitude for the important people. The 2% understand that there are no unimportant people. Every interaction is a thread in the tapestry of your reputation. A man who is a king to the board, but a tyrant to the staff, is not a man of gold. He is a man of plated lead, and the plating will eventually wear thin. True alchemy is consistent. It shines on everyone, regardless of their rank. Consider the alchemy of solitude. We have talked about silence, but solitude is the deliberate choice to be alone with your vision. In the noise of the world, it is easy for your attitude to be polished away by the friction of other people's fears. You must have the discipline to retreat. Go to the woods, go to the library, go to the quiet room. Recenter your spirit. Remind yourself who you are and why you are doing this. The great empires of history were not conceived in committee. They were conceived in the solitude of a single, focused mind. When you emerge from your solitude, your attitude should be so clear and so bright that it serves as a commanding signal to everyone you meet. Think about the discipline of the daily review. Before you close your eyes at night, you must conduct an audit of the spirit. Ask yourself, where did I let my gold turn to lead today? Where did I lose my patience? Where did I let a crow dictate my weather? This isn't about guilt, it's about refining the ore. By acknowledging the lapses, you prevent them from becoming habits. You prepare the canvas for tomorrow. The architect of attitude never lets a mistake survive the night. He processes it, extracts the lesson, and clears the slate. He goes to sleep as a finished work, so he can wake up as a fresh beginning. We must also examine the alchemy of risk. A safe attitude is often a stagnant one. If you are so afraid of making a mistake that you never set the sail, you will never reach the harvest. You must develop the spirit of the venture. This is the willingness to be wrong in the pursuit of being great. It is the understanding that a bruised ego is a small price to pay for a broadened horizon. The 98% view risk as a threat to be avoided. The 2% view risk as the oxygen of opportunity. They maintain an attitude of calculated boldness, knowing that the greatest risk of all is the risk of doing nothing and ending up with a life of almosts. Finally, look at the alchemy of the legacy. Your attitude is the only thing you truly leave behind. Your money will be spent. Your buildings will crumble. Your titles will be forgotten. But the way you made people feel, the electric charge you left in your wake, that will echo for generations. You are not just building a career, you are building an atmosphere of influence. When people remember you, do you want them to remember a man who was burdened by the world or a man who was a master of it? Do you want them to remember a spender of complaints or an accumulator of hope? The sun is setting on this hour, but it is rising on your next opportunity. The alchemy of attitude is not a destination, it is a way of traveling. It is the continuous process of taking the raw, heavy material of life and transmuting it into the gold of achievement. It is a discipline, a choice, and a destiny. You have the iron wisdom in your hands. You have the compass of principle in your heart. You have the brush of choice in your fingers. Now, go out into the marketplace, set the temperature, move the stones, and paint a masterpiece that the world will never forget. I'll see you at the top.